We are live. Guys, you're gonna have to forgive me for this one. It's only been 383 episodes. So if you expect me to know what I'm doing yet, shame on you. Uh definitely big shame on you if you thought that I'd figure it out. But it's been a few weeks and I missed you, and obviously I forgot how to do half the stuff that I learned over those 383 episodes. But you know what? It's hump day. Good morning and happy hump day, everybody. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means? It's what's in your cup, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of the reptile community. I am Brian, the CEO's Pops. And you can follow us here and also on Instagram at Samson Snakeatorium. Let's see who is up in her today. Hmm. Let's see this. Look, she's back in her spot. Well, good morning to Holly from Texoma Exotics. How are you today, Holly? It's been a while. Glad that you got back to your number one spot. Give me 1 second, guys. Nothing ever goes according to plan, right? Well, shout outs to Holly. She slid in first, followed by Mr. Vargas. Good morning. Hope all's well. Rihanna's Reptiles is up in here. Hoping everyone has a happy hump day. And Stan, the man, see us serpents. Damn, Stan, you let 3 people slide in here before you. It's not very much like you, sir. What's up, Mac? That's my North Country brother, all the way out west, but still got the love for my man in the North Country. Irresistible Pythons. How are you, Nikki? Hope you're doing well. And she's looking forward to seeing Craig on here. So am I. I hope he shows up. What do you guys think? What are the odds? Is he showing up? Is he not showing up? You tell me. All right. You let me know. Who else we got in here? We got Gerald, the time traveler, traveling through time. Good morning, sir. Forward motion reptiles, chain reactions. Good morning, Danny. Hope you are doing well. And Shauna Corner. I wonder if she's ever going to get a reptile. Shauna, you don't have reptiles, do you? You're just a reptile podcast groupie, I think. I don't know. But we love having you here. Shauna, good morning to you. We got some love here from Canada. Crystal, nice to see you. Gecko Diva, Cuddle Time Critters. I've missed you as well. My man Thomas, Later Snakes, down all the way south in Florida. And if we're going to stay south, let's move over to Texas. We got Dr. Joe from Kingdom Pythons. Hope everything is going well with your summer break as you prepare for school coming on. And we have the man, the myth, the legend, the fat man himself, Mr. Chris Eaton of the Fat Man Nation. What's going on, Chris? Missed your call last night. Apologize. I called you at 4 a.m. I don't know why you didn't pick up, but I did call you back. We have Creative Coralofis being his normal, pleasant self and starting out the chat with the first F-bomb. Well, good morning to you, Dickie. Superstar Ball Pythons, Mr. Family Man himself. Love seeing him out there doing his things, especially with his daughter. Did you lose weight or something, or is the camera back farther? I put the camera higher, back farther, and I lost 30 pounds, baby. Yes. We retired the hat. We talked about it. The hat will be going in a display case, maybe on one of those 360 rotating things. But yeah, we'll never get rid of the hat. Low Life Exotics is being treated like a low life this week, and he is getting a lot of heat for his post. And it just goes, I think we say it all the time. As a matter of fact, he's my every morning, every show rather, the coffee goes on his what's this thing called again? I forgot what this thing is called again. Coaster. There you go. All right. Yeah, politics has been crazy lately. I guess we'll touch on that a little bit. What's up, Souls Balls? I saw you at the Metro Reptile Expo. I'm glad you're still grinding. Souls Balls and I actually have a joint clutch. Can't wait till those babies come out. Balls and Strikes Pythons. You took a while to sign up there, buddy. You should have been first, but our live chat nemesis is in the building. And look at this, Elijah. I haven't seen you in a while. I hope all is good with you and mama, but we're going to zip through this. We got BNS Reptilia. Hashtag Hugh is here. What's up, Hugh? Hope all is well. How you doing, Temple Exotics, Brewer Boys? Welcome to the show. All right, guy. By the way, Brian's the Orioles are still in first place. And of course, he starts his shit before we even get going. Thanks a lot. Nice to see you too, Troy. Really, really nice to see you. Well, maybe not so much. But guys, thank you so much for joining us. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. And you know, if you're not already up, I'll give you 5 a.m. If you're not up by 5 a.m. trying to make moves, you're already setting yourself up to fail. That's all I'm saying. We talk about it all the time. Most successful people in the world are up by 4:30 a.m. grinding. Okay, so I hope you can find a way to do the same. I'm thinking about doing a What's in Your Cup fantasy football league. If you are interested in us doing a fantasy football league, and of course there'll be prizes, send me a DM, Samson Snakeatorium on Instagram. All right, but if you're interested in having a fantasy football league, hit me up. I don't know what's in your cup, but you already know what's in my cup. We got that Cold Blooded Caffeine Samson's roast. If you haven't gotten one yet, hit me up. Let's get one going. I know I owe a couple of you some, and I'm working on it. I'll get it to you ASAP. I'm getting death threats for not sending out coffee and prizes, so I will work on that. But yeah, go check out these dudes, man. Cold Blooded Caffeine. They're the real deal. They're at every show. They're out there grinding. They're donating money to USARK. They're donating money to save rainforest. And the fact is, the coffee is really good. So make sure you go out there and check out Samson's roast, and that you, if the dark coffee is not for you, I won't be mad if you got up and went to another, grabbed another Breeder's coffee. I know that Shane has one coming out soon, so I'll definitely be checking that one out. How do I get this picture? Guys, it's been so long since I've done this. It feels like all over again. So speaking about baseball, Yankees definitely had a tough bump in the road. But I know that when we played the Baltimore Orioles, we won that series. Yeah, so I'm okay with that. And it's early in the season. We'll see what happens. But damn, if Judge isn't on a tear, I don't know who is. But speaking of baseball, I want to shout out Royal Black Balls. Now, unfortunately, it's the wrong team, but his daddy is over here. Dr. A.R. Bernard was out there for the Willie Mays event. Rest in peace, Willie Mays, one of the greatest of the greats. And while we're speaking of some people that unfortunately we have lost, I would definitely have to shout out Mr. Tom Harbin. He's made great contributions to the reptile community, including, and I've made, it's very commonly known that I'm Team Monarch over Ultramel. So we don't have the Monarch without Tom Harbin. It's kind of sad that we didn't hear more about this. We didn't see more recognition, losing a great one like Tom Harbin. But yeah, this is the way of the reptile world, unfortunately. Now, you may not know, but we also lost Doc, Mary Python, and the Holy Balls. Doc was the Holy Balls. Unfortunately, he too passed away. So if you get the opportunity to reach out to Mary and share your condolences, keep her in your thoughts and prayers, that would be ideal. The one thing that most would say about Mary, I don't think anyone would deny, is the fact that she tried to keep as much positivity in this community as possible. There there is a little bit of a silver lining here. If you remember a few months back, Mary Pythons was in the sticker breeder graveyard, selling the entire collection due to life. But Doc's son will be keeping his collection, and pushing forward with it. So there is somewhat of a silver lining, but rest in peace, Doc and Mary. We have you in our thoughts and prayers, and we're just praying for your strength. All right, guys, if you haven't done so yet, go hit the subs and likes, right? Isn't that how we do it? Don't be a creep, smash the likes and crush the subs, motherfucker. Oh yeah, and with that said, don't forget, guys, all right? Warning, explicit lyrics. Doesn't matter that it's 7 a.m. Okay, we got explicit lyrics in here. And speaking of explicit lyrics, this was sent to me. There's a difference between talking shit about a person and talking truth about a shitty person. This was shared with me, and it reminded the person of me, and I thank them for that. And I always tell you, I don't create the drama, I just share it. If you don't want drama, stop being a proponent of the drama creation. But unfortunately, we share the realities of the reptile community, which are good, bad, and ugly, hoping that we can be a part of making it more good. Speaking about explicit language, he's back. The new Fat Man Nation non-Zoom call, it'll be on tonight. So for those of you that do tune in, just remember, what happens on the Zoom call stays in the Zoom call. Now, thinking of Chris, I came across this title, Sasquatch Sunset, and as you all know, he's still looking for Bigfoot. Ironically, he only has one Bigfoot. Well, maybe that was in poor taste. I shouldn't have said that, Chris. I'm sorry. But I turned on to this show and this movie, and I watched the entire movie. Now, mind you, I don't care about Bigfoot. When Chris, Luke, and I were doing the Bronx Down Under, we did an episode on it, and I think it was my least favorite episode. I know it was our least watched episode, but I think it was my least favorite episode. There is not one word spoken in this movie, and you will watch the entire movie. By the time the movie was over, I could not believe that I had sat there and watched this entire movie. There is no dialogue, but I'll tell you this. The movie starts out with Sasquatch porn. So be advised and don't watch it in front of your children like I did. All right, let's see what you guys are yapping about before we bring out our guest. Yes, I agree with you, Hugh. Mama Mary was a peacekeeper, so. And I did not hear about this, but sad to hear that Cynthia Bissett also passed away. Danny, aka Doc, was also rough. He was a really good friend. His son is taking over his collection. That is correct. Rest in peace, Tom. That was a rough one. It definitely was. It definitely was. So, and we just didn't hear much about it. So, Return of the Mac. What's up? Thanks for the love from over the pond. All righty. And I see you, Greg. How you doing, Greg? All right, guys. So, first of all, those of you that reached out to me and asking me if I stopped the show, whatever, we've been talking about this for a while. So all you're doing is letting me know that you haven't been watching. So we're gonna have to send you to the dean's office because your attendance has been poor, but it's okay. But what I will say is that I've missed you, and there was definitely a void, and other people that do things on a weekly basis or daily basis. As soon as you stop doing it, just certain things become apparent. And I definitely missed you guys, and we'll definitely continue doing the show. But like I said, it'll be on a monthly basis, at least once a month, maybe some pop-ups. And I'm not sure if we're starting tomorrow. I think we're starting tomorrow, but I'll be doing a monthly show co-hosting with Chris Eaton, Snakes and the Fat Man Nation, over on the Fat Man Nation. So keep your eyes out on that, and we'll give you more information. But it'll be on Thursday. It'll be tomorrow. So that's also going to be a monthly show, you guys. That's the one comment I got after saying that you wanted this show to continue. A lot of you said that you would love to see Chris and I do another show. So we listened, and we're going to do it. Okay, great. All right, guys. With that said, I'm going to bring out our guest. A few weeks back, one of his reels came across my feed, and there's just certain people that have that ability to capture your attention within milliseconds almost, and that's what happened here. I was immediately brought in and focused on this reel, and I loved the delivery, the pitch, the topic that was being discussed. Now, mind you, reels are just a matter of seconds, right? So to be able to do all of that in such a short period of time is a great talent and gift. So I went and I looked at more and more of the content, and it was very consistent. So I said, hey, this is great. We need more of this in our reptile community, and we talk about that all the time. We need more of it. There's always going to be cycles and things like this are going to happen where you'll hear the same information, but the delivery, the messenger is different. And for most of us, we have to align ourselves with those that we want to hear those messages. So when I saw that, I did want to bring them up. And the Fat Man says tomorrow, guys, ADD in the house. Pop up tomorrow night. We don't have a name. If you guys want to start recommending names, you can send them to either Chris at the Fat Man Nation or send them to myself at Samson Sneakatorium. We don't have a name for the show, and it'll still be the greatest show on his network. Isn't that amazing? But it'll be tomorrow night. We're gonna pop up 8 p.m. See you guys there. So, all right. So, guys, let me introduce actually, I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself, but let me bring out our guest this week.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. And how are you today?
Doing great. Fed the chickens, walked the dogs, got some Pete's Big Blast, I think it's called. What is it called?
Okay. You got a nice little kick of caffeine.
All right. Yeah, I'm ready.
So that's part of your daily routine, feeding the chickens early?
It is. Along with snakes, I have chickens because they also have cloacas.
So are we keeping it cloaca? Is that?
Yeah, cloaca havers only. Yeah, a couple dogs, but cloaca other than that, cloaca havers only.
There you go. I don't know. I think my my female has a cloaca. My female pit bull. I think she may have one. So how many chickens are we talking about?
Got 11 chickens.
Okay, that's manageable. 11 eggs a day.
Soon. They're just at the size where they're about to lay, and they haven't laid yet. So we're any day now. We're expecting to be overrun with eggs.
Oh, this is a new venture you're working on.
Yeah, just the past several months.
Oh, okay. A couple of my employees raise chickens. Some benefits, I get free eggs and
yeah, man.
Like now, the fresh eggs, you don't have to put them in the fridge. You can leave them on a counter for like 30 days, no problem.
This is true.
Because
there's like a membrane around them or something.
There's some type of membrane that protects them. When we wash them and package them, that's where we clean it and make them more vulnerable, I believe. So
that's right. That's exactly right.
So what kind of chickens do you have there?
I got about half are white leghorns, and the other half are Rhode Island red.
All right, so you're doing a lot here. So you got the chickens. You breed your own rats?
I do.
Okay. Are we breeding Norwegians, ASF, both?
They're only allow Norwegians here, so that's what we do. I'm in Alabama, and ASFs are outlawed. So we've got a pretty decent couple racks of rats that we raise up to feed the snakes.
Okay. Well, that's a beautiful thing. Did you introduce yourself?
No, I'm Craig from BashCoder Reptiles. I keep a bunch of different species, but focus mostly on ball pythons. Been doing this since about 2020, and enjoy making Instagram content, trying to distill knowledge that I'm from mostly from my mistakes. So, I've made a lot of mistakes, and so I hope to learn from it. And I feel like a lesson is wasted if I'm the only one that learns it. So I'm that's the motivation behind what I do, and that's me.
That's a beautiful perspective, sharing your errors and what lessons you learned from them. That is definitely a beautiful thing. We have these people now. We got them wanting eggs. We're gonna lose viewers now. They're gonna go start scrambling some eggs now.
My bad. My bad.
It'll be
I'm
fun.
bad for views. I'm like anti-clickbait.
So just for the record, when I first started, I think I started this show wearing a Tractor Supply hat. I think I influenced you, even if you've never seen an episode before. I just want to put that out.
Yes, I am a hat man for sure. Always, and I don't know, man. These guys really need to start sponsoring me, Tractor Supply. This is my favorite hat right now.
It's not gonna happen, man. It's not. My hat. If I show you that hat, yeah, it's not happening. I tried. It's definitely not happening. So you came out in 2020. So you can almost technically be considered a pandemic breeder.
Yeah, it was just before that, but yeah, I really was caught up in that wave. I think that's when a lot of the reptile industry sort of gained a lot of traction on social media and on YouTube, and so that's how I came across it. And so yeah, it was really fun coming on in that time because there were so many people starting up.
It seems as if our most recent influx of ball python hobbyists and breeders came during the pandemic. So this is the shit I deal with. So when I wore my Tractor Supply hat, I'd get comments like to go mop up in aisle 3, and
Yeah.
So just, you see, no one's harassing you, and you're wearing the damn hat right now. Okay. And for the record, guys, anyone that works at Tractor Supply, thank you. I can just say that in my experience, my Tractor Supply, they're the most pleasant people, knowledgeable, helpful. And when my dog took a big poop inside, they were very helpful in getting me the stuff to clean it. So
that's the measure of a retailer, man. If they'll help you clean up your dog poop, that is a great retailer.
There you go. Not only that, they weren't even upset he pooped. So I was good. I was happy with that. Let's see. We got some latecomers here. He'll still claim to be first. If you're not first, you're last. We have Mr. Small Town Exotics. And look at my brother, Ancestral Royal Pythons. Always nice to see you. I miss you, my brother. Hope all is well. And then we also have a couple of lamos. Make sure you go check out their lame chat, where if I'm there, I will be busting their balls, all pun intended. VIP morphs and jaw-dropping morphs. Jared, nice to see you guys. They're also on the Fat Man Nation, by the way. Let's see here. We're testing waters, Craig. Just know we eventually give everyone shit. So Hugh's just letting you know that he's behaving right now, but it will be coming. All right. Okay. So you're doing the chickens. You're up early in the morning. Is this your full-time gig? What's a day in the life of the BashCoder?
I'm actually a coder, and so I have an internet company that we do services for for retailers. Wait, I'm gonna get some more coffee.
I'm only on my second cup. I got you.
But yeah, so we develop software during the day. Sort of my hang down here in my office is the snake room and the office. So, if I get bored with my job, I go over, check some tubs, clean some tubs, stuff like that. So the day in my life is pretty much in this room, hanging with my animals and my work.
That's pretty cool. Pre-pandemic 2020, I'm running a government operation. And when we went remote, that was the best part of it, where I'm on a, actually we're using Skype, not Zoom. I'm on a Skype call, and I just have a shirt and tie on. I'm in my drawers, no socks. And then as soon as I'm off the call, I'm checking tubs, cleaning tubs, playing with
Yeah.
snakes. Isn't this thing beautiful? My son
Yeah.
was home from school, and at the time he's what is he, 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, and he has his breaks from class. So that's definitely a huge benefit. How do you control that balance though between what you do with your collection and work? How do you balance that? Because they're both very time consuming.
It is difficult. I have help. That's how I do it. So I have a couple people that come in and help me. A couple young kids that are Padawans. Voiceover commercial. They help me clean the racks and help me clean the rats, and so they one even helps me with the chickens. And so I have help, and I discovered I needed help really bad when I broke my back last year. And yeah, I was laid up for several months, and so if I didn't have that help, I would have been in big trouble. So thankfully, I already had some people trained up, and I keep them around because it just really takes a lot of pressure off me. If I want to clean the snakes, I can. If I can't get to it, they have my back. And so I keep the balance by not letting one overtake me, overwhelm me.
Well, that's very smart and practical. I had interns when we first started, and that was great. I never cleaned the tub. I had 3 interns and never cleaned the tub. But when I relocated, I don't have that network here. Nor the confidence in letting people, because we keep our collection in our home, nor the confidence in letting people in my house. But yeah. And you broke your back. How's the recovery going?
It's great. I'm doing so much better. It's been a year and I feel so much better. I can lift things. I can, I'm still have to be careful, It was a very heroic incident that broke my back. I feel very proud of it. I was changing a light bulb on a chair and fell straight onto my tailbone. That was
I figured something comical was coming along.
Yeah, it was heroic. It was heroic. A lot of lives were saved that day.
Well, now we know how many BashCoders it takes to change a light bulb.
Yeah,
right?
Anyone but me.
There you go. Alrighty, so you've been in the community. Well, you've been breeding for about 4 years now.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
When did you take this plunge into the Instagram world? I know you've just recently taken the plunge into YouTube. When did you take the plunge into the Instagram world and want to start sharing your experiences?
Well, everyone was getting on me about, you got to do reels, you got to post daily. I really can't post daily. I just don't really have the bandwidth to do that. But everyone was saying, man, you need to do it. It was social media advice, really, to do reels and to put out content. So I tried some things and kind of flailed around a little bit. You can see if you watch my reels, there's sort of an evolution of the content. It wasn't until I didn't really find my lane for a little while. And it was really sort of me sort of feeling like I was responsible to share some of my mistakes, and also seeing a lot of people that were sort of going through the pains of making bad decisions during that COVID time. And so they made bad decisions from the standpoint of they really wanted to be like a business, but they were buying snakes and breeding snakes that weren't going to advance them as a business. And so that's when some people around me that I was friends with started really struggling financially. That's when it really kind of lit the fire under me to do more reels and to go deeper into the content.
That's interesting. Now, first of all, where do you get the audacity to have less than 5 years of experience and think that it should be you guiding others?
Exactly. What the hell am I doing? I really, part of my thing is I really want to encourage people to get out there before they're comfortable. the important thing is to, if you're learning anything and you have something to share it. It doesn't matter. You don't have anything to prove to anybody. You don't, if you've got something that can help someone else, share it. And really for me, the key is to not get too far out over my skis, right? I mean, don't talk about things you don't have firsthand experience with. It's simple, and it's when we get too far out over our skis and we start talking about things we don't actually have experience in. That's when, it gets a little dicey. But honestly, I think everybody should be out there sharing what they're learning and sharing what has made them a better keeper and breeder.
I will accept that, and although it may have been audacious, I will accept that. I do. I think the key to what you said is having the first-hand experience.
Yeah.
I think the biggest gripe people have with the 456 reptile podcasters out there is that there's a lot of first-hand experience that they haven't had that they speak authoritatively on. And I think that's the issue. I can go through, the last few years, how many people, podcasters that actually contradict themselves in videos, etc. So I think that it's key, but I think your intent to help kind of helps guide the content and what you're sharing.
Yeah. And, I definitely don't hold myself out as some bastion of truth, but if you've learned something, yeah, for sure, Greg. I mean, bad decisions are part of the learning process. Actually, I think most expertise comes from mistakes, honestly. I mean, we learn a lot from our successes, but I think we learn a hell of a lot more from our mistakes. And I know there's kind of a group of people that are like, there's no mistakes in this hobby. Just go with the flow and do what you do. Well, it depends on what your goals are, right? I mean, if your goals are to do one thing and you're doing another, then that's a mistake. If you're just keeping and it's a hobby and you love the animals and you don't have breeding goals and you don't have goals regarding genetics, then yeah, follow your bliss for sure.
So it's one of the issues I have is the toxic positivity. And again, we should aim to be
toxic
positive.
Positivity.
But that toxic positivity, no mistake. No, you're going to make when your actions, contributed to the death of an animal, that's a big mistake. Okay. And we see it here frequently. And it frustrates me because, again, where social media, to me, it's a negative. It's that people see followings. And when they see these followings, they think that because a person has so many followers, subscribers, that they are an authority. And often it's not the case. And when you look at the content they put out, they will share practices that go very much against the grain and what we know over the last 30 plus years, justify it. Then months later, and this is an animal that should easily live 20 to 30 years in captivity. Then months later, you hear that the animal passed. Well, was that a result of those not so good practices that you like to share? Taking your snakes out for a walk,
right.
And all these other crazy things, and we won't get into the other topics that cause debates. But it's frustrating. As a matter of fact, let me share this real quick. I wanted to share this with you guys as we're speaking about social media, fakes, frauds, and just so you guys can have an idea, because I will always say it. I have the best viewers on YouTube. It's not even debatable, okay? But you're not going to see 4,000 views on my video. But you're going to get followers. You're going to make sales. You're going to make long-lasting friendships. And I would always put that quality over quantity. But we live in this world where people fake it till they make it. And people are easily persuaded. And I think the more people that are out there sharing and guiding, the better. So I agree with you.
It just came out that 1/3 of all internet traffic is fake. And all of this is coming from Chinese phone farms. So the people that you're arguing online with about different things such as politics and city rules, well, it's all fake. And it's probably just a robot. These phone farms usually have tens of thousands of phones that are connected to one computer that's controlling all of them. The way it works is that the people who run this typically take the batteries out of all these phones and then connect all the motherboards together in order to monitor it on one computer. And then with the use of AI, they're able to generate responses across social media, making it seem like they're coming from a real person when in fact it's just one big computer. I don't think you guys understand how sophisticated this actually is, because each phone represents one person, but yet it's all connected to one computer that literally controls all of them. One of the biggest concerns about all of this is just how much it can actually impact our elections. All I want to know is, do you guys think this is a good thing for society or no?
Wow.
That's a big wow. Now, I've spoken about it many times. You will see someone with 100,000 subscribers on YouTube and their videos get 200 views. It's just the math ain't mathing. Okay.
Right.
But
sure, on Instagram too.
It's the same thing on Instagram, and you'll notice the person with 50,000, and then when you look, the first 1,000 names are in another language. There's no content. It's sad that these are the times we live in, and that people actually get influenced by the numbers that just aren't real. Do you have any goals in mind? Does that, and it's kind of difficult because I think for all of us, at some point it happens like that, right? You get a like and you run to see, oh, who liked my post, or you get,
right,
you know, that you hit that milestone of 1,000 subscribers and you're like, I hit 1,000, now let me go to 2,000. And actually I've seen your numbers have increased a lot over the last few weeks, so kudos to you for that. I think it has a lot to do with your good content.
I think that I don't have subscriber goals. I had a goal to get to 1,000. But I didn't do the things that you're supposed to do. I didn't post every day. I didn't put stuff on my story every day. I sort of made a commitment to not waste anyone's time. And if it was worth saying, then say it. And if I didn't think it would add value to anyone or they wouldn't enjoy it, I just didn't post it. And so my subscribers are pretty lean to my views, and I'd like it to stay that way. I mean, I'd love to have more followers, but I'm more concerned having the right followers, people who are actually going to benefit from it. So I have maybe 1,500 followers, or under 1,500 followers on Instagram. I don't do Facebook, and I've been getting maybe 3,500 views or somewhere around there for my reels.
Who is this guy?
So I think what happens is I try to create content that people would feel that they learned so much that they'd want to share it. And so you don't need a big following to make a difference, you know, and definitely bot followers are not your friend, and you can see it. You can see who's doing it. It's really obvious. You can look at people's followers, and if everybody that follows you has the same crazy name style and they all have like 400 followers, okay, that's a bot farm that is all following each other. So they all have 400 followers because the bots all follow each other. So they get 400 followers and then they follow you, you know? And
it's a little worse than that, because you will actually see some of these people have less than 10 followers. They're following 3,000. Because I've gone in and I've shared this with others, and I've gone in.
That's a way of doing it. Yeah.
10,000 people accounts and 50,000 followers. And then when you go in there and you actually click on the profiles, it's sad. It's really, really sad.
Well, you got to start somewhere.
No, I'm happy to hear though that you don't have that goal, because unfortunately that is what changes the content of many people that start out with good intentions. Is
Interesting.
You get addicted. You get addicted to it.
Dopamine.
Yep, the dopamine just floods, and you want more and more, and I get it, but to me, I think it's one of the bad things that we're experiencing here. For example, Go Herping, who his following was strong enough that as soon as he bashed the spider gene, it was taboo because so many people had heard about it, and then you just get the mob mentality and the bandwagoners that just jump on. So it's definitely scary. Obviously, you've been doing this for 4 years. Do you have, besides my shows, of course, do you have a favorite podcast that you watch?
Got two favorites. One is In Your Circle by Irresistible Pythons. Nikki and Kurt do a great job. Such an easy podcast. I mean, when I say easy, I mean not simple, but they're just they have an easy way about them, and it makes it easy for people to interact with. The other is Mike at Herp Collectors podcast. Clutch Conversations. That's been a real staple for me, and I think I've probably learned more from that podcast than any other podcast. Nice.
I have to check out Irresistibles, but I have seen Herp Collectors, and actually it was Ancestral Royal Pythons who was like, Brian, stop missing out.
Yeah, they're sponsors.
So I went and checked it out, and I was like, all right, I could see what's going on here. What's up, pineapple? All right, so let me ask you this. You have no goals for social media clout. I love that. I love it. That'll keep you true. That'll keep you very, very true to the game. Have you seen anything with some of the themes that go on in the reptile community, social media, like 15 minutes of lame?
Yeah, I have seen some of that, and I think they're super fun, and it's a way to focus on building people's followers in a way that everyone wants to watch, and I certainly saw what it did for Stephen and Courtney at Leviathan, and yeah, man, it looks like a fun thing.
So just so you know, I have picked
this guy then.
I have picked the winner every year.
You have?
Yes.
Does this mean you're secretly in control of who's the winner, or does this mean that?
I think I just have a great talent for identifying talent. I think that's what
I see.
So I don't have someone that it's just like ringing out to me for this year. I don't have that person. Like last year, I went with a long shot. Okay, I don't know if you know Paul from Large Marge Morphs.
I do.
Oh my God, what a long shot that was! And I'm like, here goes my 2-year streak, because there's no way in hell this man can win it. Then I paid off enough people for him to win. I paid off all the judges.
Good.
And he pulled it off. No,
good.
I have nothing to do. I'm not a judge. I have no influence at all with it. But let me ask you something. Would you consider doing the 15 minutes of lame this year?
I think the question would be, honestly, I want to do it justice, and that I think involves a pretty significant time. I've seen the people do the contest in the past, and they really make some great hilarious reels, and it really, I think, requires a commitment. Yeah, right. And so before I did anything like that, I think I would really want to count the cost first and make sure that I could do my best and give it my all.
Well, that's good to hear. Why don't you do that, and then let me know, because I think you'd have a very unfair advantage with the content and the quality of the content you put out.
And your bribery schemes, of course. In which case I'd bribe you, and then you would bribe them, and then job done.
Exactly. So if that's something that I would love to nominate you for 15 minutes of lame. Okay.
Well, I'm honored. Thank you.
Shout out to this lame-o right here. You see, if you insult them, they give you money. Okay, all you got to do is insult them.
Wow, look at the big drop there, $50.
Yeah, all you got to do is insult them, and the money comes. You see? Oh,
Right
wait,
on.
he gave me the money before I insulted him. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see here. Just watch out for all the whiners that will complain that you've been breeding for more than 6 months. No, people were only complaining about you because you've been breeding for over 10 years. Okay, I think under 5 years, it's fair. It's hard to talk to Stephen and Courtney. What? I've never
They're
had
the
that.
best.
They're
the
easy
best.
to talk to. Maybe
Yeah.
they're just too busy, or they don't want to deal with low lives. I don't know what to say.
I actually joined their Patreon because they were so helpful for me. They were just so appreciative of my content, and they were always encouraging me and sending me great reel, Craig, and sharing my stuff. And so I actually joined their Patreon because they were helping me so much, and they're mentoring me in social media stuff. And so it's been great.
I believe that was the connection. I believe that they had shared something that came on my feed. I believe it came through Stephen and Courtney. So I in my experience, I've actually broken bread with Leviathan. We've had we don't agree on a lot of things, and yet we're able to remain civilized. We're able to have conversations about our disagreements. And I think that's one of the things that we need more, not only in this community, but in this country, is to respect the difference in opinions, and just the understanding if your opinion differs from mine, you're wrong. I think the quicker we get to that point, the easier life will be for everyone.
Right. Just in general. And I think that a little bit of humility goes a long way in this industry and in this hobby. It's a little bit of humility to say it's hard to top Stephen and Courtney is what Lola meant to say. There you go.
All right, that I'm
that
good
makes
with.
sense.
And I just think that they just have such a good they complement each other extremely well.
They really do.
Courtney's the badass. Stephen is the nice guy. At least that's how he's portrayed. Who knows what happens behind closed doors, right?
Maybe they're the opposite behind doors.
Exactly. That's what Chris and I say, but I don't know if that's really the case. Because Courtney got some fire to her. So, what are your goals though? Since you don't have a goal of becoming the next big pet tuber, what are some of your goals for the next year to 5 years?
I actually I've started a new podcast that is a monthly podcast because I feel like I could execute on a monthly show on YouTube, and I would like that to grow. So I do have some social media goals in that. I've got a couple hundred subscribers on YouTube, and I'd like to see that grow. So it's not like I don't have any social media ambitions. I would like to grow that YouTube following a bit. My goals are to have a really great breeding season next year. I'm sort of in an awkward stage right now where I've got a lot of animals on the bubble, and I really want to set myself up for next year. So this year is all a building year for next year. And so my biggest goal this year was to improve my husbandry and to get that to be just on point. And I've made a lot. I'm still not there, but I've made a lot of great improvements with my team helping me. And so the biggest goal this year has been just get that husbandry on point, and put myself in a position to where I have a big breeding year. I can, make sure that everybody gets cared for the way they need to be cared for.
I think that should be everyone's goal. Husbandry first. Everything else falls in line if the animals are well kept for. So I think that's a great. I mean, some of these podcasters, you'll actually see the animals that they have, and you'll see how filthy things are, and it's like, goodness gracious. But I think that's a great goal to have. So how many? You said you carry different species, but you primarily focus on ball pythons. How many clutches are you trying to work on?
This year, fewer than a dozen. Next year, more like 30 or maybe 40. So you can see why husbandry is such a big deal for me right now and getting prepared for that. So this year isn't a big breeding year, but next year is going to be big. If I end up pulling it, it's going to be sort of a game time decision next year as to how many clutches I make. You know, part of it's going to review whether or not these clutches really need to be made. And the plans I have now may change, but that's why it's so important that I get the scaling right now, because man, when you scale up and you get something wrong, it builds up fast and it gets out of hand fast. If you fall behind on your cleaning, it builds up fast, especially with the rats. If you overproduce, you're covered in them. If you underproduce, you don't have enough, enough food. And so there's a lot of tricky stuff that I don't want to fail at in the future that I'm working on now.
I think that you're going into it with the right approach and the right attitude. So that's gonna help you a lot. One of the keys to success is knowing what you don't know, and the fact that you're working towards learning the things that you don't know that you need to know, both as a hobbyist and as a breeder. I think that's gonna assist you greatly. Also, the fact that you just have a whole different approach. What are some of the not so good experiences you've had in these 4 years? I mean, it's inevitable. We have a large community. Any community has good, bad, and ugly. So what are some of the things that you would say have been not the most, or just some of the bad or ugly experiences you've had in the reptile community?
When I was a brand new breeder, people would try to really get me to buy their snakes that they knew weren't going to be good for me, but they needed to get rid of. And I think that, one guy, I've told this story before, but this one guy really hit me and said, man, you need to have this animal. She gives 15 eggs every year. There's no way you lose money. You got to have this in your collection. And it was a female, a browned out female pastel. I didn't even see the animal. He just told me I needed it. And so I had it in a bag, and brought it home, and it was this browned out pastel. And I'm like, I've never bred that animal, because I not that there's anything wrong with pastel. I really wanted in some of my things, but I didn't know what I didn't know, like you said, right? And I think that when we're trying to divest ourselves of animals that no longer meet our goals, we need to make sure not to
Contribute.
Like let's not contribute to the problems people are having out there trying to make a go at this with animals that can't make the money, and yeah, so that's one thing. But I really,
cobras have to eat too.
Who?
Cobras,
they do have to eat too. This is true.
Cobras have to eat too,
Yeah.
But I'm sorry to cut you off, Craig, but I'm in full agreement here with the Fat Man Nation. He says, I do like the fact that he said, do these clutches need to be made? So many in the community celebrate mediocrity. I think that actually falls in line with something you said earlier, about, I guess you just come in with a more ethical approach, and we kind of don't have this great level of morality in this community sometimes, right? Because everybody's looking to make money, right? So do the clutches need to be made? And one of the things, obviously, is we have these fads, like genetics get hot, right?
Yep.
So we have these fads, and then just like any other type of breeding, we have it in dogs. Any type of breeding is going to have it. Once you have that fad, we just have this overabundance of breeding, which saturates the market. And then once the saturation begins, the price decreases.
That's right.
What do you think about the state today, right? If we go to Morph Market, I haven't checked it in a while. I'm not the biggest fan, but we won't get into that. But if you go to Morph Market, I'm sure there's over 30,000, 40,000 ball pythons listed. How do we justify breeding at all at this point when there's 40,000 animals that can't be sold or placed?
Yeah. First, I think that it's important to know that most of those animals are in the under $500 range. And gray rider reptiles. There you go, man. Hey, Charlie. Good morning. So yeah, I think that this is probably the best time to get in the hobby, honestly, because there is a lot of great genetics that are available at affordable prices right now. And eventually, when this recovers, you'll be starting with much better breeding stock than we had available to us at a reasonable price during the COVID years. And part of that is because of the glut that we have. I think probably the auctions have helped a lot to move some of these lower priced animals. I've bid on an auction, but I've never auctioned any animals off myself. So I don't have a lot of experience with it, but I see what's happening on the auctions, and it seems to me that this has been an effective way to sell some of those pet quality animals. Does that answer your question?
Definitely. It definitely does. Now this is a scary fact, and it's something that I think the numbers definitely don't reflect where we are, but if the variance is this large, it's really scary. Chris says, I was talking to an old school guy this week, and he said the real number of BPs in the country are closer to 2 million.
Could be.
I wouldn't doubt that. So I have a DM network. I have a network of people that only communicate with me in DMs. They're old school type of people. They've been doing this 20, 30 years.
Nice.
And they're already burnt out from social media and the negative effects of social media. But I'm very fortunate to have these people that reach out, and we have good steady communication. And a lot of them, the majority of their sales are wholesale. They're not on Morph Market. They're not at shows, but they've already created their lane. You had mentioned finding your lane earlier. They've already created their lane. So they're pumping out more clutches and hatchlings than the people that you think are doing the best on social media. But obviously, it's more about volume, okay, where they're just pumping them out to wholesalers. So I would agree. I have no concept of figuring out how many we have that are available in the country, but I would think it's definitely a lot more because I've never done Morph Market. So I'm sure, and I mean, our first year we moved close to 300 ball pythons without Morph Market. So if you take that into account, I'm sure there are plenty of people that have found other ways to move their inventory. So, but I agree, and I'm gonna have to, and I hate this, but I am agreeing with you. I am not agreeing with Balls and Strikes Pythons, just to be clear. But I do agree that now is the best time to get in. And when we had started talking about the quote unquote reptile recession, I had done a show with my man Bubba from Canada, from the Acorn Collection. And he had dubbed this the reptile recession very, very, very early. And when we were discussing this reptile recession, just like any recession, now is the time to buy, right?
Yeah.
You are going to get the best deals right now. And every week we do something here called the Sticker Breeder Graveyard, where unfortunately we say goodbye to someone leaving the hobby, but they usually have a flood sale as they're leaving, which is equipment, which is animals, et cetera, et cetera. So, I'm sorry, Troy agrees that it would have been uncomfortable if we had agreed. So
don't want too much of that. That's that toxic positivity you're talking about.
That's the toxic positivity. Trust me. And he's very, very negative. So we're good there.
I will say,
Macromorph, like the XL bullies, they are cool, but unhealthy at a point. Well, we got into animals. I mean, that list goes on and on and on, including today's most popular dog, the Frenchie, right? That little fart
Mm.
monster that can't even have sex normally or deliver the baby normally. And so yeah, I mean that list goes on and on and on. All right, so I wanna end this on a good note. What is the best experience you've had so far since you've been in the hobby?
First, I just want to say I had the privilege of being at Tom Harbin's funeral last week. And man, we lost one of the greats. He was the best of us. What a great guy. I didn't know him super well, but I wanted to pay my respects and support Josh and Alicia. But that guy was so present with people. You felt like his best friend after being with him for 5 minutes. He really cared about people. And so I think to your point about, some of the stuff that is more toxic about the community, we would all do well to just sort of stop and think, what would Tom do? Because even when the whole Team Ultramel, Team Monarch was at its fever pitch, he was just cool as a cucumber, and you didn't see him in there mixing it up, right? And he's Mr. Monarch, right? And I just really love that guy. And I would have to say the best thing about my experience so far has been the people. Definitely encourage people to get into some Patreons and find your stream that you feel comfortable swimming in. But then swim in multiple streams. Don't get yourself locked in groupthink. But I think it's the people that I've made some friends that I never thought I would make such meaningful, important friendships in my life through snakes, and that's been the best part for me.
Well, I like that. I like that, and I'm glad you shared that because again, with everything that's going on within the reptile community, outside of the reptile community, I think that this kind of his passing got lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you shared that. I have an interesting what would Tom do story.
Good.
I spent a little time with him in, I believe it was in Arlington, and he was great with Samson. Shared his whole story on the Monarch. He had a beautiful single gene Monarch there, and I asked, "Oh, can we see it?" So when you say, what would Tom do? And this is balance, right? Because if you look at what Hugh says, what did Hugh say here? He said he never met a stranger.
That's
basically the way he spoke. He never met a stranger, but he had boundaries. He had limits. So when he opens up the case and he takes out the Monarch, I reach for it and he pulls back. Okay. He pulls back. He pulls back. Okay. So he doesn't, it's not standard operating procedure for him to allow people to hold his animals.
Interesting.
Which, as you can see, with the spread of mites and Nido and all these other things, IBD and all these other things that we have going on, it's smart. But his concern was more about the animal than how he would make me feel pulling away. So I thought that was an experience for me and a learning experience because we're always talking, and then theft, right? Because now we have theft. Where people are quite often just tossing it in a bag and their baby stroller, whatever the case is. So I thought that was interesting. That see, this guy's been doing this for a while and he has the right idea, and I'm sure he doesn't have to go through his collection and do a whole mite remediation, which I don't even want to talk about right now. But that's a whole other story.
Sure.
WWTD. I like that. Only a few of the big guys even mentioned what happened to him, but I'm glad I saw the ones that did pay the guy tribute. Again, I think no one dies at the right time, right?
Right.
None of us, I guess. I mean, we die when we're supposed to die, but it's never the right time. And unfortunately, just so much going on. I just hope that he does get the recognition and the respect that he deserves. So, all right. Well, I want to say thank you, first of all. And I think I told you I haven't heard you share anything new. Okay. But everything you're sharing is fresh. Okay. And I am grateful for this breath of fresh air in the reptile community. I'm grateful for the approach that you have. And I'm hoping that you do grow in numbers. And I understand it's more important the people that are following you than the amount of people following you. But I'm hopeful that you do grow in numbers because you're delivering a good message and you may be able to connect better with others that many of us have tried sharing our experiences for their benefit. So I'm very, very hopeful that your numbers do grow. Guys, if you're not following Craig, if you're not following BashCoder, the links are in the video description. Also maybe share with him some ideas of things you would like to see in the future. I like his podcast concept. It's different, and that's what we need. We need new energy, and we need something different. So many cookie cutters in this reptile community, it just gets frustrating. So to see someone bringing that breath of fresh air, I'm grateful for that. I believe the greatest gift you can give anyone is the gift of time. So I want to thank you for gifting me your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. What a fun way to start the day. Really appreciate it.
Well, thank you again. And I'm sure many people, I'm going to have to disagree with Crystal, who said that you have the best morning voice. Holly, I need you to check Crystal, okay? Holly, let her know I have the best morning voice. Thank you.
You too.
Craig, it has been a pleasure until we meet again, and hopefully that will be soon. You have yourself a marvelous day.
Thanks very much. You too. See y'all.
All right, guys, that was Craig Hansen, BashCoder. Pretty cool. Pretty cool guy. Definitely didn't let me down. But the show's not over. The show's not over, Greg. It's not over yet, buddy. Let's talk about this hot topic. A few weeks ago, we were flooded, right, with the search for... Sorry, the mouse is acting up. A few weeks ago, we were flooded with the search for this animal that disappeared at a reptile show. And I know I had a lot of people come to me, and I'm going to skip a couple other things for the interest of time, and we're just going to get into the hot topic. If we have a few minutes at the end, then we can do that. But we were all seeing this. It was in all the groups. It was in all of the discords, and the list goes on and on and on, right? We have this Nsane Clown that disappeared from a table at an NARB. Was it? No. Was this? No, this wasn't an NARBC. This was Pomona, the super reptile show, right? This just caused such a ripple in the reptile world, right? It's not the first time a snake has been lifted at a show. It won't be the last time. As a matter of fact, I believe that another post, I think Antoine posted another, I guess, screenshot of video taken of another theft of a pied ball python, not with the same price tag, but theft is theft, right? So everybody got put on alert about this missing animal. Now, obviously, a Nsane Clown is not the easiest animal to unload. There are not that many of them available. It has a hefty price tag, which comes with it. And for some of us, we find the animal just grotesque. Gosh, I've never once understood the fascination with sunset. And I remember Steven telling me, well, you don't like it because you can't afford it. And that was a cool little response from Mr. Leviathan himself. But I don't think that's the case with a lot of people. I think a lot of people just don't like sunset because it's ugly. And I can't say I haven't seen a few combos that were like, oh, I get it. of course, that's only as a hatchling. I have not seen an adult sunset anything that's appealing to the eye. That is my opinion. I have a right to it. Don't we all? Right? Opinions are like booty holes. We all got one. So Dave from Natural State Exotics had this animal lifted from a show a few weeks back. By now, I'm sure you've heard a whole slew of stories about what took place, etc. Right? Because we have the memes were popping out. I mean, everyone wanted to be connected. I saw a video of some guy saying, "I think I was right there when it happened," like just to be associated with it, etc. So what ends up surfacing is that Mike Sanders from Nsane Clown Pythons had the animal, and that he claimed to have played a prank. Now, I reached out to Mike. I reached out to Mike from Nsane Clown Pythons. I didn't get a response. I reached out to Dave from Natural State Exotics. I reached out to my man KG from Bomb Projects because they were grouped together. This was when you see a few breeders actually join forces, right, at an event. So they were grouped together, and the first post I had seen was KG's post. But yeah, the you know, Holly, you're awesome. You're the best. You see what I mean? Thank you very much. Thank you, Holly. Let's let them know. You know, she's Canadian. She probably hears funny, you know. The adult Ultramel sunset is gorgeous. Oh, two shitty genetic combos. All right. I'll have to see it. I'll have to see it before I actually shit on it. So we saw what was going on, and everybody was, that's it, out. That's it. The memes started. He's canceled and all this other stuff. My DMs started going off both ways, both from he's a piece of shit to can you believe this lynching mob that came out of nowhere, or can you believe the hypocrites, et cetera, et cetera. One of the DMs I got that I thought kind of really resonated sent me this. I was hoping you'd come out of retirement. Always the nice guys and the people you'd least suspect. Give me an honest asshole any day of the week versus all the fake nice guys and good guys that go bad. Unfortunately, we see this over and over again in the reptile community, right? Because I've shared this with you time and time again. A hustler will not tell you he is a hustler. A liar will not tell you he is a liar. And a thief will not tell you that they are a thief. Okay? I want to live in a world where I don't have to have my guard up, but I can't live in that world because that's not the world we live in. And we have to be more conscious of the people that we are interacting with. We talk about this all the time. Antoine posted, and he was one of the people to first post. He was one of the people to first report what had happened, etc. This is for the friends in the reptile community. Everyone else, feel free to scroll on. I see a lot of people coming out of the woodwork saying, "Oh, Mike cheated me out of money. He sold me a sick snake and never resolved it." It gets on my nerves when we never hear about any of this until one person brings their situation to light. We could have gotten him the fuck out of here way before he decided to steal a 10K animal. I have my theories, but maybe I'm missing something. Well, I have to agree, right? And I'm often chastised for being that person to share things with you, for being that person to warn you not to deal with certain people. They've sold fake heads, animals not delivered, sick animals. The list goes on and on and on. Yet I get chastised for sharing this information. So I do agree. We've said it. You've heard me say it. Silence is acceptance. If you remain silent, then you are actually complicit in the crime when it happens. If you knew someone was a thief, if you knew someone was selling fake cats, and then a friend of yours had the same experience, you could have prevented it, right? It's just like any crime outside of the reptile community. So it's really sad that we're still having these same conversations. But Antoine was also one of the first people to jump on this mic thing and bash Mike, etc. I still don't know the details. This is what I do know is that the memes came out unexpectedly from some people. I didn't expect. Here we go. This doesn't really align with Bob Vu's branding, but Bob had many memes and jokes about this. I'm just hoping this isn't the direction Bob's Balls goes. He's one of the people that I think are good for this community. I think that he has a great reputation in this community, and I would hate to see it get tarnished because he starts doing things like the meme market guy, where the meme market guy kind of just always sharing his opinions, his memes, etc. So Bob, bring it back, Bob. You're awesome. I'll continue to support you. I can't wait till next year's toy drive, but yeah, Bob, be Bob. You've done an amazing job being you. Stick to you. Then there are people that don't surprise you, right? Sybil guy had his memes. I stole your snake. It was a prank. Sunset Clown, Mike Nsane Integrity. There was a bunch of these guys' videos. I had Will's Hella Heats commercial. Made me laugh. Some of these are funny. Can't lie, guys. Some of these are funny. The situation is not funny, but obviously some of the memes that are being put out were funny. Now I got this. I had a DM with this individual. I'm not going to put their name out because too often people get put under attack because of a difference of opinion. He said, right is right, wrong is wrong. Don't be selective with who you put on blast. I said the same thing. It's bandwagon jumpers. I said something on Facebook on someone's post, and people attacked me, Black people. And my comment was simply along the lines of, I know breeders and vendors nationwide. A lot of messed up stuff happens often. Blacks, whites, everyone. Don't fall with the agenda of a Black person stealing. And now he's reptile hobby public enemy #1. Expose everyone the same or don't expose anyone at all. Wow. I have to agree with that. I have to agree with just keeping the energy the same. And it's one of the things that we fail at in this community ridiculously well. I did an episode, right, on Snake Discovery and the Rusty Nail, and forget the hate that I got. But if I had taken Snake Discovery's name out of that, and if I'd taken out the 1 million, 2 million followers, etc., people would be bashing them for that Rusty Nail egg cutting, okay? But because of who it was. And this list goes on and on and on. My question is not whether or not he stole the animal. My question is why, in this situation, did so many people come out of the woodworks, became a part of the witch hunt, became a part of this lynching mob? My question is, why did that happen? We have done 183 episodes of What's in Your Cup, where we talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And in those 183 episodes of What's in Your Cup, we have discussed many people and the ugly actions from them. Here goes a few. Where was the energy when we knew that we had killers in the community? Where was the energy at when we knew we had animal abusers in the community? Where was that energy when we knew we had people selling fake heads in the community? They're still doing it, and people know this. Where was that energy when we knew that people were selling animals with Nido? Where was that energy? Where was that energy? Now, I am not condoning any of this. It doesn't make sense to me, this whole situation. So when I looked at it, right, first of all, we're looking at a sunset clown listed at $15,000. Okay. Slash the $10,000. Okay. Ugly animal, whatever. But if I have a $10,000 snake, I think that I would be more cautious with securing it. I don't know about keys, locks, etc. I do know that there were pranks going on. At least I've been told that there were pranks going on that day. Okay. And one of those pranks was actually hiding the entire display case, where someone hid the entire Dave's entire display case, and this is prior to. So this thing that we're talking about here, with whether it was a prank or not, right? So when I was informed about that, now this is kind of falling in line with it may have intentionally been a prank, right? Now, just to be clear, theft. We're talking legal terms, and I love the amount of ball python lawyers we have in this community. But we're talking about legal terms. So for this to have been theft, Nsane Clown Pythons would had to have the intent of depriving Dave of his property. Okay, he would have that intent. If the intent were indeed a prank, which everyone will agree, whether it was intentionally a prank or not, this definitely went awry. But if it were intentionally a prank, this is not theft. The item was returned. This is not theft. There's actually a term, and it slips my mind, when you return a perceived stolen item, right? Like, let's say you went to Walmart and your 2-year-old, threw something in your pocketbook, and you left the store, you go to your car, you notice it, and you bring it back in. There's like a term for that. And I'm not saying that that's the case here, but I just hate the hypocrisy in this community. I just hate the hypocrisy. 412 balls, I almost stood at attention there. I just thought that music went good with the times and everything that we're going through, and I just thought it was good, because I would like you guys to vote on the list of thumbnails I showed. I'd like you guys to vote on that and let me know which one of those, okay? How about this? Which one of those are not worse than Nsane Clown Pythons taking a snake and returning it? So which one of those are not worse? Okay, that's what I want to know. Which one of those are not worse? Hold on one second before we continue here. Troy says, thank goodness the fake head people are getting more and more exposed with the availability of genetic testing. I'm going to tell you right now, any known breeder that's still putting out 66% head, 50% head, possible head, I don't even want to deal with you. At this stage of the game, if you're not investing in your business and taking care of that right now, to me, it's part of your hustle. Okay, if you're still putting out 66, 50% possible heads, to me, you're still hustling. You're still hustling. There's no reason why that at $30, there's no reason why you shouldn't be sending your shed to gray riders, reptiles, and getting getting it verified. No reason at all. $30. You lose $30 if it's not a het. You gain money if it is the het, and you raise the price of the animal. It's that simple. Let's see here. Balls and Strikes says pranksters don't typically wait until the police are involved to give up the joke. People keep mentioning the police. I have to call bullshit. Okay, where I am from, you are never threatened by someone mentioning police. If you have the police there, you don't speak. You keep your mouth shut. You don't say anything. Again, we go back to the laws. So I've heard different things. I heard that he didn't return the snake until he was told the police were involved. I heard he was told that the police had video footage. I heard he was told that they were releasing the video footage once they received consent from the promoters. I call bullshit on all of it. Okay? If the police had video footage, he would have been arrested. That's just reality. Do you people not watch? Doom, doom. Do you not watch Law and Order? Goodness gracious, it's been on for over 20 years. Okay? That to me all sounds like a crock of shit. And Mike was a successful businessman. Mike made $1 million in business, or became a millionaire in business, and that didn't just happen being a fool. So to say that he returned the animal because he was told the police had video, do you think returning the animal would change the outcome of that? Let's just think about this. Do you think that because you returned it or said I'm sorry, and that the police have video footage of a crime, that it will stop there? Let's see what this guy's I totally disagree. When you hatch hundreds of snakes, not many breeders can afford. If you're hatching hundreds of snakes, you're getting discount rates with any of the genetic testing. It's out there. There are quite a few people that hatch hundreds of snakes. All right. So if you're hatching hundreds of snakes, again, you either lose $30 on the value of the snake, or you add the $30 into the cost of the snake, or when the results come back positive, you just increase the cost of the snake or your listing price. So yeah, you can disagree all you want, but you're wrong. Phil says, I think it was stolen, not a prank. Rihanna says, so what happens if he didn't see the snake gone? Would Nsane have said anything, or just kept it and didn't say anything? Dumb prank, dumb prize. Hashtag Q says, I don't care what went down. If you pull 15K from me, it's no prank, period, good dude or not. A 2-year-old taking something and returning it, and a grown-ass man taking something for a week for a prank. Dude stole it. Snakes in the memories. Girl next door, I think that the person whose property was stolen can choose whether or not to press charges. Another thing, which again, I think everyone has valid points, right? A prank for a week. Don't play with $10,000, right? I get all that. Valid points. What I haven't heard anyone say is that Dave put out a post saying if the snake is returned, no questions asked. The owner of the snake just wanted his property back. No questions asked. And you have not seen Dave out there putting a bullseye on Mike's head. You have not seen Dave. I don't even think Dave's put a post after this took place. Okay. Now, I don't know what Mike's intent was. I don't know if he intended it to be a prank. But none of you can say what that intent was. The same way I don't know if it was a prank or not, you don't know if it was a prank or not. Okay? Now I have another theory. If it were indeed initially a prank, again, you can ask the guys that were there. To my knowledge, his entire display case with all of his snakes were hidden from him, taken off the table and hidden from him as a prank. Now, here's where the things differ greatly. They differ in the fact that they weren't hidden for a week, right? We keep talking about the return time. They differ from the fact that KG was the first person to put out a missing post, right? Because he was part of that group. I think KG should have been informed of what was going on if it were a prank, right? So I don't know if it was a prank or not. I don't know if it was a prank or not. I do know that it could have been a prank that kind of like, whoa, nobody knows I have this snake. Maybe I keep it. That went from being a prank or wanting to be a prank to actual theft. There is that possibility that 100% could have happened. But what I know as a fact is that the animal was returned and that the owner of the animal said no questions asked. And yet, here we are today, weeks later, with dozens of memes. This topic is in every Discord. Nsane Clown Pythons has been canceled. Nobody's been canceled. If you couldn't cancel some of the big names that have sold animals that have completely threatened your collections because you didn't do the appropriate biohazard protection or whatever the case is, and you didn't cancel people that violated young people in our community, okay, under the guise of mentorship. If you didn't cancel show promoters and shipping magnets and all these animal abusers, if you didn't cancel any of them, why are you wanting to cancel a man that returned the item? And that's where I am perplexed. We're not looking at the fact if he screwed up, he screwed up. He still returned the item. I'm not justifying the theft if it was theft, okay? I'm not saying it was a prank. What I am saying is your energy needs to stay the same. And for all of you that are so irate about this, yet nothing else that you were aware of fazed you, you're a fucking hypocrite. That's it, a hypocrite, okay? I hope something good comes out of this besides the fact that the snake was returned. But let me ask you this question. Each and every one of you that are part of this whole lynching, okay, let me ask you a question. Why would anyone in their right mind in the future return an animal or anything that they may have taken improperly, illegally? What do they have? What type of incentive do they have to return that animal? Because in this situation, it was said, no questions asked. Yet, here we are asking a million questions and not knowledgeable to provide the answers, but we're providing those answers, okay? So again, your energy, don't be hypocrites. That's all I'm saying. I don't play games like that. There's certain things you don't do, right? I don't play with people's faces. Don't play with my face. I will smack the shit out of you if you play with my face. It's been off limits my entire life. You don't play with people's faces. It's just a huge form of disrespect. But you play stupid games, you do win stupid prizes. So my question is, what are the show? Or I reached out to the show organizers. I got no response. And my question was, what were they going to do to prevent something like this from happening again? I got absolutely no response. But I would like to know. I mean, gosh, you got people putting $100,000 worth of animals on the table, and there's no security. Everyone's saying about it. He took a week to send the animal back. I believe that the animal wasn't even known to be missing for almost a week, which a lot of people had questions like that. So, if he took it on Saturday and then slipped it back in on a Sunday, it would be more likely accepted as a prank. I don't even think that it should have left the room, to be honest with you. So I can see why people say it's theft. I can see why they say cancel him. I can see all of that. I'm not justifying it at all. My issue here is energy. And I'm not saying it's racial. It could be, but I'm not saying that that's the reason for it. I don't know. Maybe the reason is that people felt threatened from a millionaire who had a killer ass collection, who was doing things his way. I know that when Miguel came in, he got a lot of beef because he came in with money and did things his way. And Mike was kind of following that same path. Maybe people just were envious that he drove a Rolls Royce. I don't know. Maybe he was making too much noise. But it's kind of ironic that people that never do this type of stuff are so happy to see this man come down. I want you to question those people, because those are the same people I'm sure you will find in photos with him. And I'm sure you will see them breaking bread with him and acting as if they're the best of friends, but yet they were the first ones. Okay. The first ones to tie the knot for that lynching. That's my thing. Energy. That's my thing. Energy. I don't know if it was intended to be a prank. I don't know if it was intended to be theft. What I do know is that, unlike many of the other things we've had issues with, the animal was returned. There was a resolution. That's what we're always seeking. Even in this show, right? We seek resolution. We know what the problem was. The animal was taken. There was no money given. It was returned. Okay? Not justifying anything, but unlike all of the other shit show stuff that we've seen happen in this community, the animal was returned. I'm going to tell you this, Mike won't be canceled. He won't be. If podcasters are still here after mocking people with autism, threatening violence on women, misspeaking all the time, I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and they still here, and you still tune in and you still support that, Mike won't be canceled. Worst case scenario, he changes his branding, keeps his face away from things, and all you see is, just like many of these Instagram pages, all you're going to see are snakes, and people will buy from the name, the address that he puts under that name, and there you go. So you won't cancel him. You definitely won't cancel him. Fat Man Nation says these are the people that make hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in this stuff. 97% of the people in this room do not. People with money take prank playing to a level that a lot of others don't. Again, many people don't understand this type of this level of breeding, right? When people are making that money, right? We have millionaires in this hobby. Mako Morph says JDI, Morph Seekers, Peter Carl, Scales from the Crypt, all scumbags. Fuck around and find out. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Yes, Phil. He noticed it once he opened up the box, and I believe it was about 4 or 5 days later when he opened up the box. When it got shipped and everything, it was days later before they realized it was missing. Hugh says, I voiced my disdain for all of the above, deleted, blocked, and cut off many. I don't give a fuck what race, creed, religion. It wasn't right no matter which way you paint the picture. I dig it. I can dig it. And I can also attest that you were never shy to share your opinion. And normally it is against the wrong in the community. People who feel betrayed tend to be the ones most outraged, so it makes sense that they had the strongest reactions. There's only one person that should feel betrayed, maybe two. I think the only people there that could feel betrayed would be KG, being that he was close with Mike and at the same table, and Dave. Outside of that, there's nobody else that could feel betrayed. So the two people that have the most right to feel betrayed really aren't speaking much. I know KG addressed it one time, and I don't believe Dave has addressed it at all. So the two people that have the most right to feel betrayed have not handled it like that. So I can't agree. I can't agree. Why would Bob Vu feel betrayed? Why would Antoine feel betrayed? Why would Mike from Herp Collectors feel betrayed? Why would all of these people feel betrayed? There was a rap song put out the same day that we found out about this. Horrible rap song. The song sucks. The production sucks. The lyrics sucks. Everything about it sucks. But it was literally put out the same day. Somebody said, hey, let me make a rap song about this. Okay? Energy. Okay? Energy. Kane says it's a fucked up situation. Greg says the reptile community is full of fucked up situations. That's the truth. Yes, it is. 100% the truth. A lot of fucked up situations. So, oh, I didn't see this. I disagree. If you're hatching hundreds of snakes, it means you're selling hundreds of snakes. Tack the cost onto the back end. That's very, very basic business. That is very, very basic business. So whether it was truly a prank or not, his reputation will always be that he's a thief. That's hard to recover from. I don't know. I mean, you got somebody in your backyard that has shit on people a million times and he's still out there. Matter of fact, somebody hit me up the other day about another situation with him that arose. I don't know. So they're probably attempting to wrap their heads around the situation before they speak, which is smart. I mean, it's crazy. It's almost as if when the attempted assassination on President Trump occurred, I was like, oh, this is gonna help things die down in the reptile community because this is, traumatic. But that almost brought us to a civil war. I promise you, if President Trump were assassinated, we'd probably have a civil war in this country. It's just ridiculous how divided we are. And again, we have to learn as a people to disagree with others and be okay with it. You don't have to convince someone to believe your way. You can share why you believe what you believe. And a lot of times you probably don't have anything substantial to support it because we go with sound bites and what's popular. But it's okay to disagree. It's okay for us to disagree. I joke around about Troy, but he and I disagree on a lot of stuff. And I'm good with that. Iron sharpens iron. And if you're in disagreements about stuff, that should inspire you to do more research, look into it, and get more details. And either you're going to strengthen your position or you're going to learn something new. So we grow from that. People fucking unfollowed me because I stood up for Trump. Again, listen, don't follow people you don't want to follow. Follow people you want to follow. It's that simple. Politics, religion, those are topics that are extremely, extremely difficult. The one thing that I see in common between these two situations, everyone was running without knowing information regarding this prank or theft situation. And it's the same thing with the attempted assassination. Everybody was running. It's staged. It's fake, etc., without knowing all the details. This is the world we live in. The only thing you can control is what you do. So if that's what you take away from this episode, guys, the only way we can make this community better is if we individually do things better. That's what it's all going to come down to. Okay. We don't always have to agree and don't have to like each other. No, we don't. Absolutely true. All joking aside, Brian and Chris and others know how I really feel them, and it's nothing but love and respect. Yes, definitely a mutual sentiment. All right, guys, this was fun. I definitely we'll be back next month. Tomorrow night, tune in to the Fat Man Nation. It looks like we're going to be doing some type of pop-up. You asked for us to come back. We're coming back. We'll be there. But I want to thank all of you. I want to dash Craig Hansen. Again, if you're not following him, go give him a follow. I want to Trey and McKendrick guys from Cold Blooded. Make sure you are supporting them. Let's buy this coffee. I still want Samson's roast to be the most sold Cold Blooded Caffeine option. Keep doing what you're doing, guys. Let's make this place better because we deserve it. You deserve it. The animals deserve it. It's Wednesday. Go crush your goals. Carpe diem. Make the best of the day. Seize the day. Go crush your goals. All right, guys. Thank you for coming back. Keep sending me those DMs. We did have some sticker breeder graveyard today and other things that we didn't touch on, but I'll save them for the next one. All right, guys. I'll save it for the next one. I'll see you guys next month on What's in Your Cup for the 184th episode. And I'll see you tomorrow for episode number 1. Until next time, guys, thank you so much. Go out there and kick some ass. Yeah.
And the reptile recession, again, is something that I kind of coined about a year and a half ago. I had the pleasure of being in a podcast with Brian from Samson's Thinkatorium. I'll put his link down below, because if you guys are looking for a platform where someone in our community is not afraid to speak their mind and discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly of our community, Samson's Thinkatorium, Brian is your man. He's got a weekly podcast called What's in Your Cup every Wednesday morning. Unfortunately, I'm on the West Coast and he's on the East Coast, and it starts at 7 a.m. But it is recorded.
Everybody, Billy from Mutation Creation. It is Wednesday, which means Team MC's pick of the week. As usual, we'll do this. Oh, Brian. Gotta check that out. I wasn't able to make it today. I didn't get much sleep, so I missed it. Sorry, Brian. We'll catch it up. I'll watch it a little later. What's in Your Cup? Episode 145. Anyways, let's get